All right, Tim, let's go into the rest of these PFF offensive grades, and we'll jump over to the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, we talked about Malik Willis at 75.9. Up next, Zach Tom, just doing what Zach Tom does, 72.9 on 63 snaps, pass blocking grade, 83.4, run blocking grade, 72.8. Oh, by the way, one penalty, which is going to bring his grade down. I can only imagine what his grade would have been without the penalty. Same thing with Malik Willis. Like I said, that pulled him down just a touch there as well. Look at Sean Ryan, Tim, 63 snaps, 71.3. Look at the pass blocking, 80.3. We talked about the guys up front, Jeffrey Simmons and a couple other cats on the defensive tackle position for the Titans. That wasn't no easy task. And then run blocking, 66.1. Man, usually he's a little bit better run blocker than pass blocker, but Sean Ryan showed up to play ball, man.
He's thick.
He is thick.
Nacho Libre coming out party. I love it.
Up next, you got Jaden Reed at a 61.1. Malik Heath, 11 snaps, 58.0. Bo Melton, 56.8. Romeo Dobbs, 56.7. Josh Myers, 54.5. Rasheed Walker, 53.3. I know he got roasted a lot on Twitter. I noticed that. Pass blocking grade still a 79.8. Run blocking, he struggled at a 47.6 and had 2 penalties. So without those penalties, probably would have been in the mid-60s. I would imagine somewhere around there. I could be wrong. Luke Musgrave got 35 snaps because Tucker Kraft got hurt, 53.0. My man's struggling. There's no two ways about it. Hopefully he can pull that together. Tucker Kraft had a rough game too. He played 42 snaps, 52.4. But I tell you, man, he made a couple big plays as well. Not everything was bad there. Elton Jenkins, 51.6, kind of had an uncharacteristic game. We'll see if that straightens out. Chris Brooks, 50.4, only 4 carries. That's what's wild about Emmanuel Wilson, Tim. When we seen them getting off the plane and he had the wrist brace on, I'm like, oh, we're going to see some Chris Brooks. And then we get in and we only see 4 snaps from Chris Brooks, and Emmanuel Wilson just runs wild with a 76.7 and gets his first career touchdown too. It's awesome, man.
You gotta love it, man. I've been an Emmanuel Wilson fan since last season, and I felt like he, the injury kind of cheated him out of some reps last year. So it's just refreshing to see him kind of breaking out right now. And, it's perfect timing because, the workload is there and he's answered the call. And, feel good about the little bit of snaps we saw from Chris Brooks. I'm sure we'll see more. I do believe it's running back by committee here in Green Bay, especially with Jay Money being out. So, running back room looks good. And, I fully expect a guy like Chris Brooks to contribute both in the run game and probably on special teams as well if he's going to be active.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Dontavion Wicks, 29 snaps, only a 47.4. He had a rough game. Ben Sims, only 2 snaps, 46.9. We get to meet Tay Wicks' mama. That was absolutely awesome, man. What a sweetheart of a lady she was. Just salt of the earth people. Really, really cool getting to meet her. And you could tell, she being the lady that raised him, I guarantee you Tay Wicks is a stand-up dude, man. There's no doubt about that. So
absolutely.
There you go. All right, let's move on to the defensive side of the ball, man. This is going to get fun. Look at Kingsley Enagbare, 92.9 on only 22 snaps. Absolutely wild. Tim, if I remember correctly, didn't he score in the 90s on a game last year too? It seemed like
he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he did.
Yep. That's wild, man. You're seeing the flashes from him. And it kind of feels like they're turning him loose, kind of putting him in the middle of that overload on one side and letting him blitz up the middle a little bit more. The dude is just – and the encouraging thing about his pass rush is you've seen 3 different pass rush moves. That's kind of the knock on LVN. He's got all the raw talent in the world, but he needs to learn how to have a move or two to play off of his go-to move, right? JJ Enagbare had been working on his craft, man, no doubt.
Yeah, and we were terrified with that knee injury at the end of last season, right? Yep. I mean, we thought it was full-on ACL issue, and it was such great news to find out that he didn't need surgery. There was no severe, permanent, long-lasting damage. And now we're seeing the benefits of that because he got a full off season of work in, full preseason and training camp, and dude is just an absolute menace out there 3 weeks into the season. And really, solidifying his role in this defense. You know, he was kind of a guy that we, you know, a few years ago, we all had our eyes on him, but kind of a bubble player at best. And he's answered the call time and time again. And dude is a force to be reckoned with, and I love it.
Yep, no doubt. Now, for all you Jaire Alexander haters out there, let me tell you something. That's me. I've been hating on Jaire Alexander.
You know, to tell you, pack is back.
I've been in here going, man, listen, we're paying this dude a lot of money to play mediocre. He came out and shut me the hell up, Tim, and I'm telling you, I could not be more excited about it. Balled out, 89.2. Run defense grade, 60.5. People are going, that ain't great. No, that's good for Jaire. Like, it's usually kind of low, right? Tackle grade, 78.
78. Wow.
Wow, dude. Coverage grade, 90. Got to pick 6 right in front of me. I zoned out, Tim. I talked about that this morning. I'm looking, okay, I immediately read the backfield. All right, who's in the game? What's the personnel? Kind of get an idea. You'll never know for sure in the stadium, but trying to get an idea. They go empty. I went, oh, they went empty on this side of the – oh, Lord. This is a pick 6 waiting to happen, right? Ball snapped. Dude sits down in a curl, if I remember correctly. I think it was a curl route on the right. And I seen Ja jumping it. And as he's jumping the route, I'm going, oh, my God. I literally – first thing in my mouth was pick 6. And then the second thing was, why am I not recording this?
Yeah, that was a thing of beauty, man. I think Ja should get a lot of credit on that play because he was playing off pre-snap, and obviously it was a curl route, but that ever so slight stutter step back pedal that Jaire did at the snap kind of sold that route to Levis.
Yep.
And by the time Levis stepped into that throw, Ja was probably even with Hopkins at that point. I mean, that ball was going right to him either way about it. So just that's a veteran play by a veteran player right there. And you love to see it.
Yeah. He seems like he's really turning the corner too. Like, if I remember correctly, last week he played was it last week or the week before he played a little bit better? And he got the interception against Philly. So this is his second interception of the year, right? It's going to be fun to see if he continues to grow off that because those are the type of performances we were used to seeing. Now, that was his first career pick 6, right? I think, if I remember correctly. So, but those are the type of performance we remember seeing when he was, in his best days there early in his career. Hopefully that continues. It's going to be huge, man. If you can get Ja on one side, X on the other, you're going to wreak havoc, especially with the pass rush hitting home the way they did yesterday. So,
took it down the sideline, turned over my guys, gave the football to a little kid wearing 23.
He did take it down the sideline, didn't he? So, you guys let me know in the chat. Was that his first pick 6 or he had one before?
I think it was his first pick 6 in a regular season game. He may have had one in the playoffs, maybe.
Maybe so, yeah. All right, so there you go. Devontae Wyatt, number 3, 78.7. Tim, listen to these grades. Run defense, 68.1. Let's go. Tackle grade, 70.7. Let's go. Pass rush, 64.9. Coverage, 61.3.
Thick.
The pass rush, hey, it's a little low for Devontae Wyatt, right? Dude, everything else, that's the kind of game you need from Devontae Wyatt. You need it to be balanced across the board. This is what we've been screaming for. Lo and behold, he plays a balanced game, ends up with 2 sacks, right? Did he get 2 sacks? Yeah, 2. Yep. 2 sacks on the day. And he had a hurry as well. So, man, what a day by Devontae Wyatt. I'm
hoping that one, Clayton. We talked about that all throughout training camp. We put an asterisk next to his name. Watch out for a breakout year from Devontae Wyatt in this Jeff Hafley scheme. And like I said, man, we're 3 weeks in. We're already seeing it.
Yep. The only thing that we talked about, Wyatt should thrive in this scheme, and Kenny should. Kenny's the one who's taking a step back, unfortunately. Hopefully that gets straightened up. But Devontae Wyatt, I'm looking now, Tim, going, do we have our 3-tech? This might be our 3-tech, right? Because
you had alluded to that was maybe the long-term plan, going forward, is having him in that 3-tech. We know Kenny signed the extension, right? Kenny's going to be here, probably retire a Packer as he should. But I think the future is probably, Devontae Wyatt for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So it's just so good to see, man. So good to see. Preston Smith, 77.3 with a pass rush grade of 77.4. Absolutely phenomenal there. Xavier McKinney, 76.2. Got another interception. Coverage grade 77.2. Tackle grade 49.9, kind of uncharacteristic of McKinney. He had one of the lowest missed tackle rates last year. But run defense, run fit, 62.9. You're good there. That coverage grade, that's what you're looking for in your post safety. And a guy who moves around a lot for sure. Carl Brooks, 26 snaps, 67.7. Tim, he has struggled since we moved to this 4-3. This was nice to see here, seeing this grade. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like, yep, I seen it on the field. I didn't notice Carl Brooks, but 26 snaps, 67.7. Let's go, man. That's a big rebound from last week, if I remember correctly. So
it sure is. And looking at him thus far this year, he's improved from where he was last year. So you're seeing steady growth from another young player here on this defensive front, and I love it.
Yeah. Edgerrin Cooper, 18 snaps, 65.5. Let's go. Tackle grade, got to get that cleaned up, 29. But pass rush grade, 75.5. It's like him and Quay, man, we're going to have to fire them on some blitzes and get creative here. You don't want to get too aggressive in trying to get, too many guys after the quarterback until you smell blood in the water. That's what they did in Tennessee. They didn't come out of the gate just firing. The way I seen it from the stands was in the first quarter, the first couple of drives, it was kind of like they were filling it out. And then they turned the dogs loose, like when they realized, okay, we can hit home and we can cover on the backside, right?
Yep. So, and then Hafley dialed it up to 1,000 there towards the end of the game, down the stretch, man. That was just smothering defense from our Packers front, and just masterful calls from Jeff Hafley.
Yeah. And then Lucas Van Ness, 64.9, tackle grade of 69.2. That's slowly becoming his strength. Like you're noticing that week in and week out. Seems like his tackle grade is always pretty solid. So that's good to see. Eric Stokes, 53 snaps, 63.5, tackle grade 78.9, coverage grade 63. Rashawn Gary, 63.3, while fighting through double teams all day long. So there you go. That tackle grade 73.1. Pass rush grade only 58.1, but again, chipping on him all day long. We'll see how he rebounds moving forward. We talked about it going into the game, Tim. We were like, man, Rashawn Gary should eat this tackle up. And then lo and behold, I think the Titans seen it too and was like, you know what, let's we got to bend some extra protection over here on this side for sure.
That was the I believe he was one-on-one on that sack when Preston was lined up in the neutral zone. And that might have been the one that made them make some adjustments right there.
And that specific play too, man, I was watching Gary on that play, and it was like I came out of my seat and I was hooting and hollering while everybody else was kind of quiet. And then I realized, yep, there's a flag. That sucks. That's why everybody else is quiet in my section. I was acting a fool. But Keyshawn Nixon, man, look at this, 62.2, Tim. And he's been good in the run with run defense. This week he struggled a bit. His run defense grade 70, but the tackle grade obviously is at a 29.2. Believe that coverage, man, 59.5, overall 62.2. That's I feel like this is kind of becoming the new floor for Keyshawn is right here in this range, And I think you're going to see him to continue to try to trend towards the 70s. Hafley's really impressed with him. It's obvious no matter what we think about Keyshawn, Jeff Hafley wants him as a slot corner, man. Seems like.
Yeah, he's the nickel. Deal with it, right?
Yeah. So the rest of the grades here, some of them minimal snaps, like Evan Williams, 4 snaps, 60.9. Valentine only 1 snap, 60.4. Isaiah McDuffie, 59.0 on 42 snaps. That's pretty rough. TJ Slayton, 57.7. Javon Bullard had a bad game. Keep our eye on that, 52.5. Kenny Clark. Let's see, Kenny Clark, 44.5 on 34 snaps. Kenny is having, according to PFF, the worst year of his career. And if you see it, you got to say it. He's been ineffective this year, right? There's been some times, like one of the sacks we showed earlier, him kind of eating some doubles and getting some penetration, but you need more out of that. Kenny Clark was right in the same boat as Jaire last week with me going, hey, man, we're paying these guys a lot of money. Ja stepped up big time. We got to see Kenny step up if we want this defense to truly go to like a top 10 defense, top 5 defense.
I agree 100%. And luckily for us, there's 14 games left in this regular season. There's time for Kenny to turn it up and turn it around for sure.
Definitely. That depresses me. There's only 14 games left. Like it's going by so.
Well, we're a playoff team, Clayton, so we'll get more than 14, right?
That's a great point. I tell you what, if you're a Jaguars fan, you're depressed too because they're getting absolutely boat raced on Monday Night Football right now. What is this score? I know it's like 30-something to 3 or 30-something.
Really? Fabio's not moving the ball?
Yeah, not tonight, man. Let's see here. I'll give you a score update if they'll go away from the fancy little replays and the celebration in the end zone, all that stuff that the casuals love. Like, come on, bud. What's the situation here? Give me the info. They're not going to show it. Anyway, they're winning. They're going to win this game. That's all that matters. A little bit closer game. Well, here we go, 34-3. A little bit closer game is in Cincy, though. Washington's beating the Cincinnati Bengals 14-7. Kind of a surprise there. So,
wow,
that's interesting. All right. Eric Wilson, rough day, only 8 snaps, though. I was calling for more snaps for Eric Wilson. They disagreed. They played him like they normally did, just, got in there 8 snaps, 39.2, rough day at the office. Coverage grade was a 33.2 after getting that interception last week. Tackle grade, though, steady Eddie, 70.5. And then, of course, Quay Walker. It's bad, Tim. It's bad. And here's what's crazy. We've been talking about how his coverage has been so steady, right? So good. That's been his strength. This week, coverage grade 29.7. Everything else, though, bro, look at this.
Yeah. Look at the pass rush grade.
Yeah. Look at the tackle grade. That's been his struggle. 80.6. It's just like, I feel so bad for the dude because he just can't put it all together. It's like, man, if he comes out and grades out pretty decent in coverage right here, and listen, we've seen it. It's a couple times we looked at each other in the stadium like, that was Quay. He's just getting lost in some of those underneath coverages. If you need him to flip his hips and run with a slot receiver, he can do it. He's got the athleticism. Yep. But, man, it's just it's tough because I want him to work out so bad. But, Tim, I can't turn my head to him. Like it's –
Oh, no, and I agree. And I'm a staunch supporter of Quay Walker.
Right.
I have been since he landed here in Green Bay 3 years ago. And I think what we're seeing right now, and these PFF numbers really they kind of support what I'm saying here, is that I think we're seeing the process of Coach Camp and Jeff Hafley unlocking Quay Walker. Mm-hmm. And it's not going to happen in 2 or 3 games. I think you need to really get a full season with these coaches and with this system, and him kind of rounding out this rookie contract. It's this is a big year for Quay Walker and a lot of guys in year 3 here. So I think when you see an 80.6 tackle grade, you see 73-point run on the run defense. Run defense has been one of the things we've complained the most about with Quay. Here he is in the green. And then, of course, the pass rush, 69.3. Well, what did we see yesterday in the game? We saw Quay playing downhill. We saw him, being fired on some of these linebacker blitz packages and things like that. So, naturally the coverage grades slipped. The overall defense slipped a little. I think a lot of that just plays to the fact that I think Half and these coaches are just trying to really figure out, where is the best place for Quay to play? What is the best way to utilize him? Because he just might, on the defensive side of the ball, with the exception of a few, he might be the best athlete on this defense. And that's something that we have to consider. So I think we're just in that process of some new coaches installing a new defense this year and just trying to figure out, the best way to unlock Quay Walker. And I think we owe it to ourselves to give it some time here. Let's at least get halfway through this season before we're ready to really, cut and run from him. Because if you talk to Hafley, if you talk to Coach Camp, these guys, they're not ready to give up on Quay. They speak very highly of Quay. And I think a lot of times we put him under a microscope and focus on the couple of things that he's not doing well, and we gloss over the stuff that he is doing well on a consistent basis. So I think, a few more games, a lot more reps, maybe moving him around. I still don't think that's a bad idea to maybe bounce him around a little bit and, see how he looks situationally. But I think we're just seeing the process of him being unlocked by these new coaches.
Yeah. Coach Lynn in the chat said under 10 snaps for Wilson is perfect for him. I disagreed last week, Coach. This week I agree, being the emotional fan I am. But special teams is, obviously his strength, and that's the way they see it. There's no doubt about that. We're going to get to I seen your chat here. Greg Rice did Hopper get snaps. We'll hit on the snap count here in just a second. I've got that marked so I can come back to it. We got several chats here marked that we'll come back and hit. So let's move on to special teams real quick, just to show a little love there, Tim. Obviously,
defense.
Look at this. Evan Williams, only 4 snaps on defense, right? 13 special team snaps, 76.5.
Here's the guy.
Tucker Kraft, 11 snaps, 74.9. Robert Rochelle, 12 snaps, 72.7. Eric Wilson, 21 special team snaps, led the team, 70.4. Xavier McKinney, I seen him knock someone out of bounds on one play. I'm like, who was that? It was X's on special teams. Look at this, dude. Talk about a team.
You love that, right? All that money. You would think if there was a guy that wasn't going to play special teams, it would be him. Shoot. What's that? 8 snaps on special teams? Gotta love it.
Definitely. And then the stinkers of special teams, Javon Bullard, 48.4. Long snapper Matt Orzik. I don't know what he did, but it wasn't good, bub. 45.2. Lucas Van Ness, 49.7. Edrin Cooper, 50.8. Aaron Mosby getting 17 snaps, only a 50.4, but that's a lot of snaps for him. Might have been probably the 3rd or 4th most on the team. Yeah, probably 4th most. So,
he was a guy we were really high on in preseason. You know, Mosby had some good games, you know, so a guy to keep an eye on for sure.
Yep, definitely. So those are your PFF grades. What we're going to do now is, I know I've got the snap counts here somewhere. Here we go. Let's hit this real quick, Tim. I thought this would be interesting. You know, this is something I don't keep up with a lot. It's usually after I dissect the play, I go, now who was that made that play, right? Because I'm not a big player fan. I know people, you know, they'll root for teams because they got a favorite player on it. That's definitely not me. I'm more of the schematics and the X's and O's and everything. But so all 5 offensive linemen, Rasheed Walker, Sean Ryan, Zach Tom, Elton Jenkins, Josh Myers, all played 100% of the snaps. So everybody was healthy across that offensive line, even down there in the heat. That's really impressive. They got 100% of the snaps, as did Malik Willis, obviously. Romeo Doubs led the wide receivers with 46 snaps. Tucker Kraft led tight ends with 42 snaps. Musgrave got 35. However, keep in mind that Tucker Kraft left with an injury there for a short bit. I noticed it. I think it was in the second half, him coming out of the tunnel late. That's when I realized, dang, I didn't even realize that Tucker had been taken out or got hurt. We noticed Musgrave in the game a little bit more. And listen, I'm going to be honest with you guys. In real time, watching Musgrave, it was bad. There were so many times it was just like, this guy's – it's crazy because when I turned on his college tape, I felt like he had such good body control. And I had that in my scouting report I put on Musgrave. I'm like, man, this guy's got good spatial awareness, good balance control, body control, you know, contact balance. And that's been the farthest thing from the truth since he got to the NFL. Hopefully he could straighten it up, but obviously got significant snaps there. Jaden Reed, 36 snaps. Christian Watson, 34. So right now, when you just look at the snap count, and listen, the heat could have been the reason that these got crossed up a little bit. Could have been a little nick with an injury or something. But as it sits right now, if you went who's wide receiver 1, 2, 3, however you want to play that game, on a per snap basis with the Titans game, Romeo Doubs was 1, Jaden Reed was 2, and Watson was 3, right? Wicks came in with 29 snaps at 46%, a little bit lower than that. Then you have Bo Melton with 17 and Malik Heath with 11. Christian Watson, we talked about there, and Musgrave already. Christian Watson had 34 snaps. Josh Jacobs, 33 snaps. Emmanuel Wilson, 26. Tim, I love it, man, that they were banging their head against the wall trying to run inside zone early in the game. You could see that. It was so apparent that, like, to the point where I got frustrated as a fan. I was sitting there like, man, we've got to start stretching this thing out.
You think they were listening to us? I joked about
running right at them.
Run right at them, A-gap all day, right up the gut. Yeah. And I don't know. But, yeah, I agree. They were running into a brick wall. And it made Jacobs look worse than he is. You know, right. Like that's not the type of back that he is. But, you know, our O-line, especially on that right side, a little shaky, you know, against a stout inside run defense. When they went to the outside zone, man, that's when things started changing.
Yeah, definitely, man. No doubt about it. So that's your offensive snaps. Now, the question that someone asked in here, I had it starred. Who was it? Did Hopper get snaps, right? Let's hop over to the defensive side of the ball. No pun intended. Let's hop her over there real quick. And let's see, just to answer this question real quick for Greg Rouse, I'm going to go ahead and drop it down. Greg, appreciate you, buddy. Where's Hopper on this list? Didn't play a snap, did he, Tim?
No.
All right. So,
but it's good to see Coop, 18 snaps. I don't know what his snap count was last week, but I'm willing to bet it's nearly double this week.
Yeah. So McKinney and Quay Walker both played 100% of the snaps yesterday. Then you had Jaire Alexander at 98% with 53 snaps, as did Eric Stokes. Javon Bullard with 49 snaps. Isaiah McDuffie with 42. Keyshawn Nixon with 40. Obviously, that's just a personnel thing right there. You're not really controlling those snaps. It's whether or not they're going to play 11 personnel or not. Rashawn Gary, 37 snaps. Kenny Clark, 34 snaps. Preston Smith, 33 snaps. Devontae Wyatt, 29 snaps. Carl Brooks, 26. Pretty healthy little size there. About 48% of the defensive snaps. LVN, 22 snaps. Kingsley Enagbare, 22 snaps. You see that, Tim, and your immediate response is, you got to get these guys more snaps.
Yep.
But, if you step back and think about it, maybe the reason they were so effective is because they were fresh, right?
That's true. But I think with like LVN, if you look week to week, that's more snaps. JJ Enagbare also more snaps and probably going to continue to get more. Rounding out that list too, I know Edrin Cooper had 18, TJ Slayton 15, Eric Wilson 8 snaps, kind of low. That's a guy we want to see get more, like you said. And at the bottom of this list here, Evan Williams, 4 snaps. I fully expect that number to double. Honestly, I really do. It was nice to see him out there defensively. I think he's going to get more action. I really do. Bullard didn't, like you said, Bullard didn't have the greatest game. He's snagging up nearly 50 of these 60-something snaps. I could see Bullard and Evan Williams splitting the balance a little bit more here as we go forward, unless, Javon Bullard rebounds, which I expect him to do, and just plays so damn good that there's just no room to pepper in anyone else. But Evan Williams is a guy that I think we're all, as a fan base, we're all excited about. And I think he should get more than 4 snaps a game. I really do.
Yeah, I agree, man. And again, he was a baller on special teams. So maybe he embraces that role and he becomes kind of your special teams ace with Eric Wilson. You can see that happening too. I feel like he's kind of cut out for special teams, Evan Williams. The way he just goes 110 miles an hour and throws his body around. It's like, that's the dude you want gunning, right? That's the guy you want coming down the field. So Edrin Cooper, 18 snaps. I feel like that's a little bit more. I could be wrong, but it kind of feels like they're working him in a little bit more in some of these specific situations. You seen the.
Did he get credit for any of those sacks? Did he get half a sack on that one?
I think he got a half a sack. I do. I believe he did.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. I don't have the box score handy, but I think he did. Yeah. So let's see. TJ Slayton, 15 snaps. Eric Wilson, the 8 snaps we talked about. Obviously, Evan Williams, 4. And Corey Ballantyne, only 1. So there you go. Special team snaps. Zane Anderson with 19. Aaron Mosby, 17. Aaron Mosby, obviously, he had a pretty decent PFF grade, I believe, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong there. Obviously, Narvison and the punter, Daniel Whalen, they each had 13 snaps. Orzik with 13. Tyron Hopper. So there's Hopper. 13 snaps on special teams. Okay. Robert Rochelle with 12, and then Kadeem Telford with 7. Funny Kadeem Telford story. Y'all ready for this? We crossed the bridge, took a picture, come down in this huge Packers tailgate area. It was freaking awesome. First jersey you see, Kadeem Telford. Somebody had an autographed Kadeem Telford jersey wearing it. I was like, boy, that's a diehard fan right there. Got a Kadeem Telford jersey.
Speaking of diehards, I saw a Malik Willis jersey in the stands.
For real.
Man, talk about that. That dude had to be the first one at the pro shop. He got there 5 minutes after Malik did.
Yeah, right.
Got him a jersey. I love it.
Yesterday, it's funny you mentioned that. Yesterday, a big play happened, and a lady stands up in a Titans jersey, and she turns around and faces like kind of toward us so you see the front of the jersey, and she's talking crap to another Titans fan. I was like, why is she yelling? And then she turned around and threw her arms up and sat down. She had a Tennessee Titans Malik Willis jersey on. I was like, so that's a Malik Willis fan talking trash to another Titans fan.
I love it.
It was awesome. It was so cool.
Too old for this set. It's not an authentic Telford jersey if it's not a 7XL.
That's a fact, dude. That's a fact. This was a normal size gentleman. Now, listen, I know his tricks of the trade. This is what he did. You ready for this? You may see me wear a Evan Williams jersey here, so right? I've got an Evan Williams jersey. Actually, it's an Aaron Jones autograph jersey, but we're obviously just going to say it's an Evan Williams jersey, never show the back, right? So what he did with Kadeem Telford's jersey, I guarantee you, he got that from Pristine Auctions for a deal, probably $20-$30, right? Because it's one of those Beckett style jerseys.
Sure.
My man wore it out there like I'm supporting Kadeem. I laughed. I said, look at the autograph. I said, my man, he came out a lot cheaper on that deal than if you went to the pro shop and got a real jersey. So it was fun.
Yeah, one without a signature, right? Would have been more
right,
crazy.
Exactly, man. It was such a good time, dude. Such good vibes down there. Let's go to the Patreon group here real quick. I want to hit on a couple of questions if I could. Here we go. So Mr. Goat in the chat asked, where the heck is Carl Brooks? And LOL at Devontae Adams being grump. So evidently Devontae Adams stirred some stuff up. Is he still in a bad mood over there, Tim? I don't know why, man. But Vegas seems like they got something good going after their coach called out players that they were making business decisions yesterday. Did you see that quote from Antonio Pierce?
Oh, yeah. That's man, why I turned to my wife and I said, when Tay gets traded to the Jets, don't be surprised.
It's gone.
I smell it coming. It coming.
I could see it. So as far as Carl Brooks, though, Mr. Goat, I understand where you're coming from. You guys know he was a player I was really hyped to see this year. And in this game this week, kind of a rebound game, obviously scoring out in the 60s. He played a lot better than he has been. But I will say this. When you switch schemes, we talk about Devontae Wyatt was going to thrive in the scheme. Well, Carl Brooks really flashed last year in that 34, right? In the Joe Barry defense. Maybe Carl Brooks isn't a good fit for this defense. Something's not clicking. Maybe he hasn't got the right opportunities. Maybe he's gotten some bad mismatches when he did get his snaps. It could just be some bad luck. Definitely want to keep an eye on it. But I can't disagree with you. Like, I was expecting more out of Carl up to this point, but that was a nice little yesterday. Like, okay, that's something to build off of, right? So
that's what we've been waiting to see, right?
Yeah.
Because Carl Brooks, man, that's another dude that like. You feel like the production should be there because he's such an athletic freak. I forgot what his RAS was, but that's a big boy, and getting into his NFL body and really figuring out where he fits in this defense. I think yesterday was finally a good step in the right direction for him.
Yeah, no doubt. Dave Colvin in our Patreon group said, Enagbare had a hell of a game. You guys see his snap count going up even more. Tim, he keeps playing the way he did yesterday, man. You're going to have to. You're going to have to amp it up. And here's the thing. You got to take those snaps from someone else. So my question is, who do you take those snaps away from? I think most people would say Rashawn Gary, right? That's kind of the vibe. I strongly disagree.
I'd say Preston Smith probably at this point.
And what's crazy is Preston played arguably his best game.
Exactly. This is like the wide receiver room all over again, right? Good problem to have. We got a lot of talent. We got veterans, we got young players. I mean, where do you get these snaps from, right?
Yeah. The one thing I would say is if in the next few weeks in the upcoming games, we get off to a pretty decent lead, or a team will show a wide receiver heavy personnel, maybe you throw a little more NASCAR package and that gets him on the field. I guarantee you, though, half of them will go back and watch the tape and go, we got to get 55 on the field. We got to get him some more snaps. Yep. So how are you going to do that, right? It's going to be interesting, man, for sure. And look, the more you do it, the fresher the legs are going to be for everyone. So,
and I have full confidence if anyone can figure out how to balance this, it's Jeff Hafley and the boys in this defensive coaching staff. So I look forward to seeing it. I mean, we got to see, like you were talking about the overload looks. I mean, that I was literally up off my couch, jumping up and down, watching LVN and Bane Gary and Preston Smith and Enagbare all on the field at the same time, mixing up this personnel and these groupings. We have a ton of versatile players on this defense. And maybe that's where you get some snaps. Maybe it's not a matter of, who starts or who moves up or down the depth chart. Maybe it's down and distance situationally. Like you said, NASCAR package, mixing up the looks. Maybe we do fire 5 or 6, load up the box, whatever it is. And you can, steal an extra snap or two here for some of these guys that way. So I think Coach Haff will figure it out for sure.
Yeah. I'm just the other thing, I don't like to talk about injuries or put any bad juju on the team, but injuries are going to happen. It's nice to know, though, if you do get a little banged up at the edge position, man. You got LVN, you got Enagbare right there on the bench. That's exciting, man. It is.
Yep, absolutely.
So, thanks to everyone. Thank you, Mr. Goat. Thank you, Dave Colvin, there in the Patreon group. If you guys and gals are interested in joining the Patreon group, you just scan that QR code in the upper right. That'll send you to patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. And you can join one of the 3 tiers. We're going to be doing giveaways, all that good stuff. I think the plan for this week's game is we're going to be giving away during the post-game show. We're going to give away an autographed Robert Brooks jersey. I think that's the plan. I'll get you guys confirmation later. So anyone who's a member of one of our 3 tiers in the Patreon group and anyone who's a YouTube member here, we're going to take everybody's name and throw it into the pot there. And we're going to spin the wheel, and whoever it lands on with the grand pinky wheel. So
let me win my Robert Brooks jersey.
And here's the cool thing too: you've got members who are YouTube members. Now, listen, you got to be a member by midnight the night before the game. That's kind of the cutoff. Sometimes I extend it and I don't tell anyone because I want to get everybody in. But in case I don't have time to update the list, I always want to be honest with you guys. Say, okay, it's going to be midnight the night before. That way, you kind of under promise, over deliver. But the YouTube members and the Patreon group will go on there. So just keep that in mind, okay? And again, just scan that QR code. If the QR code doesn't work for you, just go to, like I said, patreon.com and just search for Packer Fan Total Access. But we appreciate everybody over there for sure. It's a cool little community we're creating, no doubt.
Absolutely. Great giveaway too, man. Robert Brooks didn't invent the Lambeau Leap, but man, he popularized it right after Leroy Butler started it. So shout out to Robert Brooks, another Packer legend whose career ultimately cut short by injury, but a lot of respect for that guy. He was fun to watch back in the day.
No doubt, man. We had a few of these marked earlier. Let's go ahead and hit them. Mr. Larry was in the chat earlier, said, in a clip on the Packers website, after that play, it showed a coach, I think Campanelli, jumping on Quay in celebration. That was cool to see. I'll tell you this, Tim. We were out there hanging out while the players were loading up on the bus. I seen somebody made a smart aleck comment and said, y'all out there trying to get autographs. There wasn't a single person of about 30 fans that asked for one autograph.
That's right.
It was cheering them on, getting on the bus like, great game. If your life sucks so bad that you've got to try to dog people for encouraging someone else because you're too lazy and you're sitting on your damn couch and won't get out and go to a game and actually – you want to do what Tim did and go to the airport in the middle of the night after a loss, right, Tim? And say, hey, great season, fellas. Appreciate y'all entertaining us this year.
And that was the same vibe, that you had yesterday in Nashville was the same thing last year after the Niner loss was just support, encouragement, gratitude.
That's all it is, man. Thanks.
That's all it is. There wasn't a single fan asked for a picture or an autograph or anything like that. It wasn't about that at all. It's about supporting your team. You call yourself a fan and say that you love this team. You can show that in your own way, a lot of different ways, but being a hater is definitely not the way to do it.
Yeah. And you can do it by stop arguing with players on Twitter and stop arguing with players' family on Twitter. That helps a little bit too. I'm just saying, you wouldn't say that to these people's faces. So stop being the internet tough guy. That's my soapbox talk for the night. But yeah, Larry, what I was going to say there, them celebrating McQuay, I think you could tell Quay is one of those dudes that his teammates love him. There's no doubt about it. That's why it's so, it sucks so bad when he struggles because it's like, man, you want it to work out. And Tim, when they came out of there to get on the bus, when Quay cut the corner, I went, that is a big old boy right there. The only other player that I felt like that with, 2 other players. Josh Myers, holy cow.
Yeah.
You can tell why they want him to work out because he's a get off the bus dude. I was like, whoa. And then the other one was Rashawn Gary. Mandy said, who is that? I said, that's Bain. That's Rashawn Gary. She went, that man is huge. And
just being around him is intimidating, right?
Yes,
he's like all in the zone all the time.
Absolutely.
All the time. I've had a couple interactions with Rashawn near the facility, and it's always very brief, very respectful and cordial, and borderline intimidating every single time. Shout out to Bain Gary for sure.
Very intense dude, man. I love it. Aaron Rodgers in the chat earlier said, hey, Clayton, I'm going to Lambeau for the first time this year. San Francisco versus Green Bay. Just found out yesterday. Congratulations, dude. That is awesome. Even though you played at Lambeau for so many years there, Aaron, I'm excited that you get to go watch a game.
Wait, that's Aaron Rodgers without the D. That's Rogers. So
I wonder if it really is his name. It might be his real name. I don't know. I've never asked, but you're right. There is no D there. But yeah, man, congratulations, dude. Lambeau is a special place, man. If you hit me up on Twitter, and you probably already got it all planned out, but if you're like, man, I really want to take in everything and maximize the trip, I love stuff like that. I'd be more than happy to give you like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 833 things that you can do while you're in town.
Absolutely.
You can really, if you focus on what you're trying to do while you're in town, you can really take in the Green Bay experience, man. The people that say there's nothing to do there, they have lost their mind. Yep. It's just a magical place, man. And what really makes it magical is the people of Brown County. They're just so welcoming. So it was, I want to tell a story that happened in a hotel I stayed at in Green Bay, but I'm not, because someone would complain in the comment, go, "You're getting political." But it was just, I walked out of that hotel that night and was like, these are my people. These are my people right here. So congratulations, though, buddy. That's absolutely awesome, man. Coach Lynn says Sean Ryan and Josh Myers are balling right now. It's crazy, too, because like the Josh Myers PFF grade doesn't suggest that. But when you look at the score every week, too, Tim, it's like the offense is kind of churning, man. Again, PFF isn't everything. It's obvious that the coaches believe in these guys. And Sean Ryan this week, the PFF grade obviously lined up, pretty solid.
Sure did. And I think with those two names right there on the O-line, we're just looking for, not being a liability, basically.
Exactly.
Right? No more. And you know what? We're a far cry away from the snap the freaking ball Josh days.
Yes.
He's certainly got that down. And we've seen flashes of him even in the run fits, run blocking, getting out there and leveling guys. And, Sean Ryan does. I mean, that's hope for the future, seeing Sean Ryan continue to kind of rise up a little bit here. He's still a young player. This is year 3 of a project. He's a project player that we brought in here. Saw a lot of potential out of UCLA, I believe, is where he played his college ball. And he's had his struggles and continues to have struggles like a lot of players do. Nobody's perfect, but when you see guys flash like that and you see, regardless of where you're at in your career, you start seeing some positives mixed in there. That's where you want to be. So yeah, you're right. For Sean Ryan, the PFF grades showed it yesterday, but with Josh, man, it's a lot of the intangibles. We don't see him with his back to the defense anymore like we did last year. We saw that quite a few times. We don't see him getting washed out or pancaked. We don't see him snapping the ball and looking left and right and then blocking air. So there are things that are improving with his game. So you got to respect that for sure.
If you do want to see someone get washed out, pancaked, and embarrassed, I'm going to show you a clip here real quick. First of all, shout out to Todd Appel or Apple. Hope I'm saying that right. Go give him a follow at TODDAPPEL on Twitter. He tagged me and Ryan in this, and it was Warren Sharp that actually tweeted it out. If you guys don't know who Warren Sharp is, he's one of the best NFL analytical dudes there is. But he tweeted out, said, within 1 second, he said, "I am dying." Within 1 second, the entire defensive line has blown past the entire offensive line, who is laying face first on the ground, 4th and a foot, and this is what you do. We're talking about the Chicago Bears and the Colts here. I got to keep the sound down, but watch the offensive line, guys. Don't look at anything but the Bears' offensive line in this goal line situation.
Where did they go?
Now, look, what's the replay? Look. Look at every one of them.
Still suck.
Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 guys on the and again, if you roll it back and go kind of slow motion, 70 is the best one. You're going to see 70 kind of kick out right here. Look, 70's like, yeah, and what's his buddy? I don't know what happened to his buddy, but he just gets
65, yeah. Woo.
Yeah. Now watch 70. Look at the arrows.
Oh, gosh.
Anyway, it's always fun to laugh at the coach. All right, guys. That's it. We're out of here. Again, we just wanted to extend Victory Monday a little bit longer, so that's why we did it. If time would permit, we would try to do Chalk Talk tomorrow. I don't think it's going to happen, so we'll continue to just dive into everything Packers. If I can get it put together, we'll do it tomorrow. If not, we'll wait till Wednesday. But, Tim, you got anything else you'd like to say here before we get off?
Just shout out to everyone in the chat. United Bates, Dennis Shook, Too Old for This, Respect Oranges in there. We've got a lot of the PTA posse. Cheesehead Murph checking in tonight. We appreciate everybody joining in the show. And being a part of the conversation, man. This is awesome. We got a super chat here. Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was from earlier. I just want to
that's right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, shout out to Michael Kiram. I hope I'm saying that right, or it might be Kiram, who sent in the super chat. Appreciate you supporting the stream, buddy. You're awesome, man. So that being said, guys, we're out of here. We'll be back tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central, to talk more Packers. Tim, can you help me out here?
For those of you listening on the pod,
thank you for making us a part of your day. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world.
No block, no rock.
Go Pack, go.